Hey, what's up, guys? This is Church of Caboose, and we're doing a raid guide video for the Sanctified Mind, the last boss in the Garden of Salvation raid. So let's get on into this whole thing. Alright, so first of all, weapons. His weapons here are very important. Ideally, you would have the Izanami's Burden Sniper Rifle with the completed Catalyst. You would have the Recluse submachine gun, as well as a Swarm of the Raven grenade launcher with spiked grenades. So that's what you would ideally have if you don't have those options. Some other alternatives you could look at would be to have the Tranquility Sniper Rifle, which you can get from the moon, Whisper of the Worm, Darcy, or Mountaintop. Mountaintop would be better for the Cyclopses as opposed to damage phase, but it's not a bad thing to have. Then for your energy slot, you could have Every Waking Moment, Subjunctive Submachine Gun, which you get from the Vex Offensive, as well as the Risk Runner. The Risk Runner would be pretty good because of all that Radiolarian on the ground, and if the Izanamis with Catalyst wasn't so outstanding, I would probably recommend the Risk Runner over other options. But that's what we're at. And then for your heavy, you could have Love to Death, which is a grenade launcher from the moon. And then you have some other options of Bygones, Go Figure, and if you happen to have Divinity, you could also use Divinity. So those are some possible weapons that you could use. Now let's get on to how this actual boss fight works. So here, let's do some team composition. So you're going to have 3 fire teams of 2. So you're going to have Team 1 left, Team 1 right, Team 2 left, and Team 2 right, as well as a defender left and a defender right. Now, defenders, they stay in the boss room. They clear ads and prevent them from sacrificing to those confluxes. When you start the encounter, you will see a red conflux on the right side start to glow, and then a blue one on the left side start to glow. And you want to make sure none of the ads can sacrifice to either of those confluxes. The defenders can also be on Cyclops duty, because Cyclopses will be spawning, as well as rebuilding the floor by using the tether from the conflux to the little tether cubes that are around the outside edge of the map. So you can kind of see with some of the gameplay, you'll notice those every once in a while. You connect the tether to one of those cubes, and then you can rebuild the floor. Now, for Team 1 and Team 2, what do? Well, they're invading portals that are activated by shooting the red dot on the shoulder or knee of the boss. When the teams invade, they are collecting motes, and then when they get pulled out, so they bank those motes at the appropriate conflux. So if they have blue motes, because they're on the left side, then they would bank on the blue conflux, which is on the left side of the boss room. Then they're also shooting down the shields on enemies in order to prevent those enemies from being able to sacrifice. Because just like the second and third encounter, there are going to be enemies that have shields on them that can only be taken down by people that have the enlightened buff. Once the shield is gone, though, anyone can kill them. So if you're getting real short on time, just spray and pray and focus on getting off the shield and let the defenders finish everyone off. Alright, each pair has a left and a right side. So if you remember, I said Team 1 left, Team 1 right, Team 2 left, Team 2 right, defender left, defender right. The reason for this is because that person is responsible for that half of the boss area. So defender left, if he has people sacrificing on the left and he missed it, that's his fault. And the same with anyone that's assigned to the left or the right. Hopefully that makes sense to you guys. The main deal with having the left and right is to prevent enemies from sacrificing, as well as rebuilding the floor and later on maybe some tethering. So here's kind of the order of events. So first, Team 1 will invade. So we're going to go with invading the left side. So when you have Team 1 invading, when the counter starts, some ads spawn in, you have an angelic. Once you kill the angelic, those critical spots will appear on the knee and the shoulder. So once you are able to destroy a critical spot, shoot the one on the knee, the left side first, and then that will open up a portal. Team 1 goes through and invades, and they are killing ads and collecting motes. Once they've collected all the motes, they say, pull me, and then everyone that's in the boss room shoots down the left knee to bring back Team 1 to the arena, and then Team 2 invades. And then once Team 2 is all ready, and they have collected all of their motes, they say, pull us, and then everyone that's in the boss room shoots the knee, brings back Team 2, take care of the Cyclops, and then you shoot the right shoulder. And then team 1 invades on the right, same thing, they get the motes to say pull me, and then team 2 invades, and then they get the motes and they're like, hey, pull me. And then once you have banked a total of 30 motes per side, so 30 motes on red and 30 motes on blue, you are able to do damage phase. Now, how does the damage phase work? Alright, well, you got two options with damage phase because you have to tether from one of the confluxes to the boss, and you would ideally do this twice in a damage phase. So here's option number 1. You just have one tether team. So you assign 3 people that are going to be tether teams. You're going to be like, hey, I will be the one closest to the conflux, I'll be the one in the middle or spot number 2, and I'll be the one at the boss or spot number 3. And so you have 3 guardians that are connecting from the conflux to the boss. So the other 3 go to the opposite side of the map. So when you get ready for tether, you will see like a blue or a red cross shieldy type thing appear in front of the boss. That color of that shieldy cross thing lets you know what conflux needs to get tethered to the boss in order to do damage. So if you're not in that tether team, you need to go clear to the opposite side just to make sure you don't accidentally interfere with the tether team's tether, because the tether kind of just goes wherever it wants to when there's people around. So you want to have everyone that's not on tether team on the exact opposite side. So that first tether, everything goes swimmingly. You broke the shield or whatever, and then you would switch sides. So if you're tether team, you go to the opposite side from where you were, because that's where you have to do your next tether. If you were not tether team, you go to the opposite side where tether team started, and in order to not mess up with their tether. Hopefully that all makes sense. And then once you've done your 2 tethers, you can start all 6 of you damaging. Now there is one pro to this particular damage phase, because if you're using one tether team, the other tether, or not tether, but the other group of 3 can focus on doing some damage once that initial tether has been connected to the boss, which gives you a little bit of extra. So if you're doing that strategy, I would not use your Izanami's Burden. I would use your grenade launchers and your non-sniper rifles, whatever is not special ammo, because when you have the 2 tethers connected, you get a buff to your damage that you can do, and so it's just kind of like wasting your max potential if you don't use other stuff. So that's just kind of a little tip I would give if you use just one tether team. Now if you do 2 tether teams, this is what it would look like. So you'd have your right team would be their own tether team. So if anyone has like their team 1 right, their team 2 right, and defender right, that would be the tether team for the right or the red side. Same goes with the left and or the blue side. And so when you get to the tether part, you just see what shield pops up, the appropriate team tethers them, then they get to stay there, and then the other team tethers, and boom, now you're in damage phase. And when you do the damage phase, you can pick kind of a spot in the middle between both of the tethers, because you want to have a warlock with a Well and Luna faction boots, so that way you have faster reloads. It's not like mandatory, but it'll make things just a little bit easier. So keep that in mind where you're putting down your well, as well as where your bubble goes, because you can put a bubble, weapons of light, in the back of the well and just kind of walk in and out of it as you're using your sniper rifle. And you should be able to relatively easy do a 3 damage phase. My last clear, we did it on our first try, and we happened to mess up our second damage phase, and so we did 2 full rounds of 2 tethers damage, and then one was just 1 tether because he had just a little bit of health left, and that was all that we needed. Alright guys, I really hope this guide helps you out. I hope the diagram that was up here, thank you to my wife, she gave me a lot of help with creating this video for you guys. October has been exhausting for me, and she helped me out a lot with creating this, like the strategies and writing it all down for you guys. So thank you so much for watching. Big shout out to her. You guys are all awesome. I hope you get your boss clear. Have a great day and happy grinding, y'all.